Hi YouTubers, and welcome to the Fox and Moon Tarot channel. This is your pick a card reading, and as you can see we've got 4 lovely decks to choose from here. So this is deck 1, deck 2, deck 3 and deck 4. So all you have to do is focus on the who are you really question and pick the deck that you vibe with the most. If you happen to like what you see today on the channel, please like or subscribe, and I will be placing the timestamps in the description link below, and I'll be pinning it to the first message. So I will see you there. Hi, if you have chosen deck 1, then this is your reading. So let's take a look and dive right in. Knight of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Judgment, and Hierophant. Knight of Swords. Okay, let's have a look. I get the sense of somebody who is very ambitious at this point in their life. There's a lot of movement, and you may be contemplating a lot of things in your life and where you actually want to plant your next seed in terms of your employment, in terms of a career, in terms of a new business. You're somebody that really wants to speak the truth from your own heart, and somebody who's very, very real. So you could have a lot more fire energy in your chart just from the Knight of Wands, but that might not be the case, and that's totally fine as well. Somebody who likes a little bit of structure in their day-to-day. And I get somebody who's very ambitious and wants to kind of see things through. If we take a look at the Knight of Wands here, we've got somebody who's just trying to go forth in the world. So you're very ambitious, you're very forward thinking, and there's this sort of desire to want to see your goals through. And there's this sort of, I would say, real awareness of what it is that your goals are. So you know what it is that you're after, and you're willing to work for it and move towards it. So there's a bit of action-oriented energy going on here at the moment. Let's take a look at some more cards and see what else is going on. Empress, 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Swords. Let's take another look. There is sort of like, you've been through a lot. This person, I get the sense of somebody who has been through a lot in their lives, and you're the sort of person who might have it together, and you're very ambitious and you've got all your goals together, but you kind of hide that side of yourself. So there's kind of like this shadow part of yourself where you might seem quite optimistic and really quite cheery on the outside, or just a different person to what you actually have on the inside. And this is a very vulnerable side of yourself. You don't share it with everyone, and you have an enormous amount of change that's going on inside of you at the moment with the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords. So even though you're go-getting, you know, you've got your goals set up and you know your own truth, you know what it is that you need in your life, there's a side of you that is deeply vulnerable, that needs to be nurtured, and you just have this internal part of you right now that is just moving really quickly into a direction that you might not want or that you might not anticipate. It's not necessarily bad, but let's just have a look and see what the other cards have to say. Six of Cups, Five of Wands, Strength, Two of Cups, and Death. So, more towards the internal battle that you're dealing with, and there's a side of you that is very soft, that's very giving, almost sentimental. But you also have a side of you that is yearning to connect with others, that's yearning to be very loving, and you don't share it with everyone. That's what I get. It's not something that's readily apparent to everybody. And there's a willingness, I think, for change. There's a necessity for change. So who you are right now is somebody who's been through quite a lot. You've moved through a lot in your life. And I sense somebody who could even be an entrepreneur. It could be somebody who really knows who they are. You might not sense that you have a softer side to you, and you might not want to share that side of yourself to everyone. But there is, I think, hope in the Five of Pentacles, because you've got this lovely little butterfly. I'm not really sure if you can see it. It's quite small, but it is there. So who you are is you're multi-layered. You've almost got two sides of yourself. So the energy I'm getting is somebody who is really, really passionate, really discerning about what they need, what they want, very warm, and very aware that change is a part of life. It's just who you are. So let's look at the two oracle cards and see what you've got. Yeah, you're somebody that needs to remember that you've got the support in your life that you need. So you've got the power of support, number 40. I'm grateful for all the love and support I receive. It is the most precious of life's gifts. And then you've got dream seeds. I nurture my dream seeds with love and appreciation and allow them to unfold in their own time. So there's almost this need to nurture that side of yourself, which is much softer, and a change that's necessary, because you've got all this amazing, fiery, very powerful energy going on within you, and it needs to be balanced with something that's slightly more maternal that you might not have had previously, or something that's not really your strength at this point in time, or is not readily apparent right now. But this is definitely something that is just almost not quite nurtured yet. I also feel that with the Page of Swords, you've got this very natural nurturing side to you already, and you might not even be aware of it. And it might be, if you can look at the Page of Swords here, you've got this young girl who's holding, I think it's a bird or a geese of some kind, and she's very nurturing. But you can see Page of Swords as somebody who's traditionally quite cutting and very inquisitive and very sharp and very expressive. So there is a side of you that naturally wants to lean into that side of who you are as a human being. And I think right now you've got it together, you're passionate, you're interested in other people, so you're a real people person and you really set yourself up to be that way. But it's about nurturing a side of yourself at this point in time of who you are, so that you can open up a different side of yourself. So let's just pull one more card to see what we can do about the nurturing side of you and how to bring that about. Oh, Eight of Swords, letting go. It's about letting go of that which doesn't serve you anymore. And it's about looking towards something that's entirely new. I don't know if you can see this, but in the card, it's quite dark and there's a small bird with a lot of color. So it's almost like you have to reach into yourself and discover a side of yourself that's very different so that you can transform into this other bird. And that can be understandably quite a painful process, as is seen by the Eight of Swords if you've ever seen it in this iteration. So I think it's about letting go of stories, belief systems that don't work for you, people, situations, jobs. You need to have, a strong belief that things will be okay so that you can get to this point and you can begin a new chapter. So if you liked that reading, that is the reading for deck number 1. And please subscribe or press like if you like that reading. That is the reading for deck number 1. Thank you. So let's get into it. Queen of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Five of Swords, Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. So straight off the bat, this is somebody who is very sensitive. I'm getting somebody who is very empathic, somebody who is really in tune with the inner workings of their own world. And they've had a lot happen to them. People have a hard time understanding them, so they might get a bit of misunderstanding from other people because of the way that you operate as a human being. And you're very creative, so you have a very rich inner world with the Knight of Cups here. And you like manifesting it. You might fantasize or dream about things that you like to do. You might be a bit of an introvert. You might be an artist. You might be very creative. You might be a musician. But you're somebody who is very inspiring and somebody who has a very deep emotional pull. And people find that they don't always know what to make of it because they don't operate in the same way that you do. So you're going to be naturally very different from other people. So let's have a look at the other cards. Ten of Wands, King of Cups, Five of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. You've been through a lot in your life, and I get the feeling that you keep that under wraps. And you definitely keep it under wraps. It's not to keep up appearances. it's because you don't feel like, you might feel like it's not really anybody's business, actually, to be honest. I think that you can operate very self-sufficiently, very much on your own. This is something you're very aware of, your own ability to manifest something creative on your own terms. But you've really experienced a lot of past pain. I can see that with the Five of Cups. And it's painful. There's something in your life that has really hurt you and pulled you in different ways, away from yourself, away from your creative center. And I can just picture somebody who's very creative, and you might get a little bit anxious from time to time about problems in your life. I don't know if you're the kind of person that reaches out for help. I don't feel like you are. I could be wrong, but I feel like you're probably more on the slightly introverted side. That's not to say that you can't be more chatty or more extroverted from time to time, but for the most part, you're probably more, your inner world is very dominant in your life. This is who you really are. Let's look at the other cards. Six of Swords, Page of Cups, Eight of Swords, Six of Wands, and the Five of Cups. You have a very soft emotional center. It's very rich, it's very deep, but you've really been through it. I mean, you've probably been overwhelmed. A lot of you have probably been overwhelmed with this group, I feel. And people misunderstand you. And you've had to move away from things that don't work for you. You've had to contend with things that are difficult on your own. But you're very joyful. You know how to create your own joy. You might have gone through quite a bit of loss. So you're somebody who's really been through it. I get the energy of somebody who's very empathic, very understanding of the human condition, very kind, and you don't always share your wisdom with other people. That's really for people that are very close to you. You're very creative, and you move through the world on your own. You're very unique. You have a very unique personal brand. And if people kind of took a look at the inside of your brain, they'd probably be very surprised by how rich your inner world really is. I think you don't share things because you've probably been hurt a lot in the past when you did. That's what I'm kind of getting. And that's a real shame, because actually you have a very old soul sort of energy. You've probably been here many times if you believe in that sort of thing. Things just seem very familiar to you. You're very connected to other people because of your wisdom. So let's take a look to see how to kind of resolve that sort of energy, or how to address that energy, because I'm picking up on a lot of hurt and past hurt. So let's have a look. We've got the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands, and they're both facing in opposite directions when I pick them up. So I'll just show you just there. And I think when this happens, it means that you need to sort of resolve two very separate energies with a lot of force and without sort of apologizing for who you are and what it is that you came here to do, because you've got a very creative, very, I think, people-oriented sort of energy where you really are here to help other people. So they're here to sort of help you and to show you that you don't need to apologize for who you are. You're allowed to be exactly where you are right now. So 1 is very fiery. It's very much manifesting that enthusiasm, that passion for your creativity, and just allowing it to be released. On the other side, you've got the Knight of Swords, which is saying it's craving that freedom, that inquisitiveness, that curiosity, and it's satisfying that side of yourself. So how do we resolve that? Let's just take one more card and have a look. Oh, so you've got the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is really great for creative people because it's a very structured card. It's a very structured sort of energy, and I think sometimes when people are so creative, it's really important to kind of channel that energy into something like a routine or something that helps you to come back to where your center is. So the Hierophant is really powerful in this almost very diametrically opposed sort of energy. It's a very strong center that you need in your life to help you out, because you've had so much going on. Sometimes we just need a bit of grounding energy and a bit of groundedness in our lives. So let's take a look at your oracle cards. See what they have to say. So you've got Friendship and Inner Wellspring. I think this is a lot about compassion and nurturing that side of yourself and being really kind to yourself. And friendship doesn't have to be going out with your friends necessarily, but it can actually be about being better friends with yourself. Inner wellspring, it says, I have an inner wellspring of love that luxuriously overflows with abundance. So it's about drawing on energy within yourself, which is great because it looks like your inner world is already so rich that you have that energy to draw upon to help you out in this time. And same with friendship, it's about being really kind to yourself, and the message you've got here is, I am deeply grateful for the gift of friends. My appreciation for them is endless. So in a sense, it's about appreciating what you've already built, what you've already got. And you've got such an amazing energy, I think, a really powerful empathic energy, and you sort of need to draw within yourself to get that energy. If you guys liked that reading, that was the reading for deck 2. Please let me know in the comments below. And that's your reading. Hi there, if you chose deck 3, this is your reading. So let's get into it. Eight of Wands, 7 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, and the Moon. Okay, let's have a look. So straight off the bat, I get somebody who is very free-spirited and also a thinker, somebody who really is into understanding the I guess, the underpinnings of life. I'm getting these really weird messages, sort of like the mechanics of how things work in the brain of other people. A bit like an air sign, even though these are cups and pentacles, you've got swords here. So somebody who likes to kind of dig into life and really understand what's going on. Quite meticulous, I think. Somebody who wants to understand life on a very, I guess, a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of curiosity in this personality and in these cards. They want to understand the mysteries of life as well. So there's an enormous amount of curiosity here. They find it very mysterious. So let's just have a look at the other cards. The Sun, the Hanged Man, Page of Cups, Four of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. So this is somebody who is really willing to be, I get the feeling of somebody who's a little bit of a revolutionary, and they can be a little bit playful and really into asking questions and really curious about life. But there's also a lightheartedness as well, and they try not to take life too seriously. I think that's the advice of the Four of Pentacles, really. There's definitely a joyfulness that exists within their personality. And somebody who's not afraid to ask questions, and they can be a little bit unique, a little bit hard to understand. I definitely get that with the Hanged Man. And they're willing to go out on a limb and look for the depth of their cause. So whatever it is that they believe in, they're willing to hang out for it. It's quite an unusual energy. Okay, so you've got the Chariot, the Wheel of Fortune, Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles again. So this is somebody whose belief systems, I think, they're quite fluid, and I think they're very comfortable with change. Things happen to them quite quickly. They have a very quick, alert mental state, and people might have a hard time trying to keep up with them. So they're very quick, they're very mentally alert. They like their freedom. They're very independent thinkers. But they can, I feel, they can hold on to their belief system just a little bit too tightly sometimes. There are times when they can hold on to them, but I feel they tend to be quite a fair sort of person. So they might jump into decisions quite quickly as well because they're so mentally alert. They think along the planes mentally as their dominant sort of field. It's like this is who they are. This is a very, very intelligent person. And they love to learn. They really, really love to learn. This is somebody who just loves to learn, loves to understand things. So let's have a look at the oracle cards to see what else these cards have to say. Ageless beauty and inner guidance system. So with ageless beauty, with grace, dignity, and strength, I grow into the unique texture of my feminine soul. And with the inner guidance system, the best answers always come from the calm, radiant place within me. I wait for these with joy. So I feel like this person has, because of their mental alertness, they can appear to be quite young, youthful, almost like a Gemini or an Aquarius, a Libra, an air sign. So there is a mental quickness about them. And I also feel that they need to sort of center themselves with this card here and remember to sort of look within themselves a little bit, because they are so focused on the mental aspects of their personality that they sometimes forget themselves. And what's interesting about this reading is that there actually aren't a huge amount of pentacles. There's maybe, sorry, there are 2 pentacle cards here, 3. But it doesn't feel that earthy. It feels more air oriented. It feels very focused on the mental state of this person, who's very quick and definitely feels like a revolutionary, somebody who's just willing to go all out on their cause and just shout from the rooftops what they believe in, but is very flexible. You're a very flexible sort of person. And you're very quick to sort of shift perspectives. You absorb information very quickly. You're very diverse in the way you think and see things. And it's really powerful. It's an amazing, powerful gift. So that's the reading for this deck. If you liked that or if it resonated with you, please comment down below. Hello, and if you chose deck 4, this is your reading. So let's get into it. Three of Wands, King of Wands, Hermit, 4 of Swords, and Death card. Okay, so this, right off the bat, I feel this person is somebody who has had a lot of experience with travel, or has just traveled through life a lot. And when I say travel through life a lot, I feel like this person has had a lot of life experience and definitely has a lot of experience with difficult situations. I feel like this group is very mature, very emotionally mature, very self-aware. Perhaps they're even aware of their own mortality and the importance of living their best life. And this is definitely someone who has been through quite a lot and knows how to navigate through those sort of difficult situations. And they might have even had quite a lot of experience with death, and they know how to move through life and move past those experiences with a lot of grace. That might not mean that those experiences were easy, but there's a certain amount of grace that you have that maybe other people don't quite possess quite yet. So there's a lot of maturity in this group. There's a little bit of, I want to say, low-key sadness to this energy. There's it feels very worn. It feels like an older soul sort of energy. Someone who's very experienced, very practiced in the ways of dealing with people. It's a very relaxed sort of vibe. Let's have a look at the other cards and see what they have to say though. Queen of Cups, Strength, Justice, the Lovers, and the Fool. So there is a very deep emotional maturity to this person, and they're very strong. They have worked hard to be where they are now, and in a spiritual sense. And that doesn't mean religion. It just means that, you know, you've worked hard to be kind to other people, to understand other people perhaps. Those things might not be your strength, but whatever it is that you've worked on as a person, it's paid off. And you can be at peace with yourself because of that, and you enjoy life a lot more because of that. So you have, even though there is a low-key sadness to the things that have happened to you, you can actually enjoy life at its fullest because you have gone through those experiences. And not everyone will have gone through what you've been through, but you can definitely appreciate life a lot more than a lot of people who have yet to go through what you've been through. Let's have a look. The other things. Eight of Pentacles, Page of Swords, the Devil, the Fool, and Eight of Cups again. I think perhaps maybe in life, the life that you've led so far, you've learned a lot of really difficult lessons already. And some of the choices that you've made, you might not be particularly proud of. You might not be particularly happy with the choices that you've made in the past. And I think that you're strong enough and certainly mature enough to reflect on those choices and be like, well, why did I do that? And you might regret some of the choices that you've made, but nobody's here to judge you. That's not really the point. You know how to walk away from those decisions that you've made in the past. I'm just getting such a relaxed vibe from you guys. You guys are so chilled out. It's amazing. And you know how to walk away from things that aren't working for you anymore. You know, you've worked hard, and there is a self-awareness to you. A self-awareness of perhaps your faults or the things that you're not so proud of. And I mean, that's comes from wisdom, I think. And you definitely have that in spades. That's what I feel. So let's have a look at your oracle cards. See what they've got to tell you. Service is co-creation and embrace my body. I think you're a very, like, the feeling I get is that you're very selfless because of your past experiences. And, you know, you can give quite a lot to people because of that. You just sort of give selflessly. You don't even think about it. And you do need to take care of yourself, though. That's something, there's a part of you that I feel like you guys tend to neglect, and that might be your body, or it just might be your well-being on some levels. You might have seen yourself as having been more selfish in the past, but right now you are or your potential to be, is to be very, very selfless and to really give back to people because of the things that you've learned. So it's definitely a very, I keep saying mature energy. And because we got the death card, I'm almost inclined to say that you might have a Scorpio energy in your chart, or just somebody who really wants to enjoy their life now, really wants to go on the journey away from their past and wants to make something beautiful. So you're definitely going through a transformation of sorts. It's a very powerful energy that I'm getting from you guys. I feel like you could be of service to people as well, if that's what you wanted, and you might have had a transformation in your career or in your personal life that made you think, okay, I want to change what I'm doing with my life. So it could be very dramatic, but you do it with a lot of peace because you just don't want to go through the same rubbish that you went through in the past. So that is your reading, guys. And if you guys feel like that resonated with you, please comment down below, and I will see you guys soon.